Are we on? Are we on? Are we on? Hey, Phenomenal. First comment to the broadcast. Hi, Mark. All right. So I have a lot of different places to look here. Oh, my God. Thank you for the Super Hearts, Ben. Did those pop up on the screen? What in the world? Oh, my God. There's a delay. Okay, Ben. Thank you for the Super Hearts. Thank you so much for Super Hearts on the broadcast. Hey, Periscope. What's up? We are live on Periscope and YouTube right now. Hey, Tommy. Thank you, Flinging Gert. Is that Yogurt? Or is your name Gert? Hi, Sarah. This is better than the DNC, Matt. I appreciate the compliment. I appreciate that. Oops, I missed. There it is. Yay, let's go. Hugs to you right back. Mark, I see Mark over on YouTube. What's up, Mark Gage? Good to see you. What a beautiful picture of you at the beach, I believe. Lovely. Lovely, lovely. We had stuffed shells and meatballs. Okay, there. Yes, Ben, I do see the Super Hearts now. Thank you so much. It's a mystery. Oh. Okay, snake number 1, reporting for duty. Yes, Bradley! Yes, let's go! Let's go, let's go, let's go. You give one good compliment a day? Oh, to each person, or just one to one person, and then the rest of the day, you're an asshole? I didn't mean to click that one. Okay. Mark, thank you for the Super Hearts. Thank you, Mark, so much. I like how Mark's watching on both Periscope and YouTube. So if you're not subscribed or followed on both platforms, please do so you don't miss anything. I typically will broadcast to Periscope and YouTube at the same time, but I broadcast to Periscope a lot on its own as well. So subscribe, follow. I also stream on Twitch. I'm going to do my first ever 12-hour live stream tomorrow night, August 21st, Friday night at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, New York time, and it's going to go 12 hours straight till 5 a.m. Saturday morning. Again, that's Eastern New York time. So please pop in over on Twitch, say hi. It's the same username everywhere. I have never done a 12-hour stream before, so it's going to be new territory for me, and I got a new game to play today called Fall Guys, courtesy of James. So I'll be playing not only Fortnite, but also some Fall Guys, which is a really funny game to watch. I was just watching Ed play, and I about died laughing. I was crying, laughing so hard. 12 hours. I know, Ben. I know. Yep, 2 p.m. Yep, so it'll be 2 p.m. to 2 a.m. Pacific time. You got it. One to one person. I like people to be excited when it happens. Keeps the excitement alive. Well, it makes me feel alive, so thank you, Matt. Hi, Reggie. Thank you for the Super Hearts. Hi, Chloe. Hi, guys. Adriana, what's up? All right. So for the Big Brother fans, let's dive in. So this is a 3-episode recap. Now, this is what I'm going to be doing each week. Last time you saw me was Friday night, and because of the live feeds, a bunch of you already knew what had happened in terms of the safety suite and the nominations. So that ruined it for me and probably a lot of other people. So I realized that the only way to combat that is to go live Thursday nights after the eviction. After that show, you might see a little bit more on the live feeds, a little bit of discussion, but at least you won't be giving away the noms and everything like that. So I'm excited to do this recap without other people spoiling it, but I will be talking about tonight's episode as well as the last 2 episodes. So if you haven't watched it yet, tune out now if you want. Come back to watch the recap after so that I'm not spoiling or ruining anything for you. I also want to take a quick moment to say how excited I am for Love Island to be starting. I'm not going to be doing recap episodes on that. We can talk about it just casually on my streams. I do stream every day, 7 days a week. But I do want to have one show that I just watch with my boyfriend. I don't have to take notes on and disassemble and broadcast about. If you guys really want me to do it, let me know, but I think that that'll be just something fun for he and I to watch and kind of have some fun with. We did watch last season, thought I was going to hate that show, and it was actually quite entertaining and fun to watch. So this will be extra exciting because it's actually a quarantined version, so they're all quarantined together where, it's just interesting to see how shows handle production in a time of pandemic. Makes it extra interesting to somebody like myself who's also a broadcaster. Chloe, yes, Love Island USA. Yes, it's originally, I think, a UK show, right? You couldn't get into it. Hey, Mike. Hey, Josh. You didn't like tonight's episode, Sarah. Why is that? Is it because of who went home? I'm going to try not to skip ahead to that part. Let's start with episode 5, which was Sunday night's episode. So at this point, we got to see some of the stuff play out that was spoiled for us in my last episode, but we'll just go ahead and touch on it anyway. So I just take notes chronologically throughout the show, so I'm just going to unfold that for you, starting with episode 5, which was Sunday night's episode. So David was really concerned before the nominations because he knew that he and Memphis really weren't friends, and he had picked him to be a have-not, so he wasn't really confident that he was going to not be nominated. He was pretty sure he might be nominated, and he wasn't feeling good about it because, he really has to prove himself as an all-star here to me included, and I think a lot of you agreed with me when I brought this up the last couple of recaps that I did, is why is David even in an All-Stars show? He should be in a Second Chances show, for sure. He should get a second chance, but All-Stars? The first person to get kicked out of the house last season? How is that an All-Star? I'm sorry, I like David enough, but yeah, I don't think he qualifies as an All-Star. So Memphis kind of used that as his reasoning as well. He's like, dude, I don't know this guy. I don't really think he deserves to be here. I'm going to put him up. And I forgot that okay, I got ahead of myself. Let's go back. So the thing with the have-nots is that the have-nots that are leaving the have-not week have to pick their replacement have-nots. So they can't pick one of the people who are already a have-not, and they have to pick someone. So that was really interesting because they all had to do that. So Memphis picked David, like I just said. Ian picked Nicole Franzel because they have that like final two deal, but by picking her to be a have-not, it hopefully, I think from his perspective makes it seem like they're really not working together and he's trying to get her out because she's a big threat or something like that. Nicole A picked Christmas and Kevin picked Kaser. So that is how it all unfolded, and that was an exciting new little twist that I don't think we've seen before. Plus she volunteered. You're salty that Ian didn't get the one. Oh yeah, Nicole did volunteer. You're right. She said, oh, I'll do it. I don't want you to have to pick and feel bad and everything. He was like, oh yeah, because he was like, does any volunteers, please, seriously, somebody? And nobody would, so she did volunteer. Good point. Hey, Subtle, what's up? He said pick me. He's volunteering too. You want to be a have-not? All right, so Memphis was saying that he wants to put up David and Nicole A because they're newbies. They were here last season. They're a new school. He's not really connected with them. And he thought maybe he would put up Kaser and Janelle, but it's kind of early in the season. He's not sure if he wants to, really take a shot like that. And he made a good point. He said, I know Memphis is kind of like a cocky, somewhat arrogant dude, but I feel like his strategy is smart. His social game is weak. So his choices I don't disagree with, but the way he delivers his personality to people and his ideas and his strategies are a bit like pushy, and it's not going over so well with the house. But regardless, he made a good point. He said that, yeah, I want to take a shot at Kaser or Janelle, especially Janelle, because this is her fourth season, the first person to ever play Big Brother 4 times, and she's won more competitions than anyone else in the show. So she's a threat. She's a beast, and she's good at the game. So he wants to take a shot at her, but he said, that's a really big shot, and if it misses, I'm screwed, right? It could blow up my game really early on. So he didn't want to do that. He wanted to put some easy noms up. So he was tossing up the idea of Nicole and David or Kaser and Janelle, because then unless something changes with the veto, you're going to get one of them out, and then that weakens that duo there, which is an obvious duo from the first week with the safety suite, and just in general, they worked together in the past in seasons they've been on, and it's just pretty clear. I mean, when they talk about them, they always say Kaser and Janelle. Sometimes they talk about Janelle individually as the bigger threat, but it's Kaser and Janelle. Kaser's talking to people, he's like me and Janelle. Janelle's talking to people, she's like me and Kaser. It's they go and they talk to Memphis together. They're very much an obvious duo, which is dumb, I think, because nobody, you got to break up duos ASAP. So he also said that he wanted to take a shot at Ian. So he was thinking about potentially nominating him, but same thing. Does he want to take a big shot early on in the season? Probably not. So he tells everybody to play in the safety suite because he hasn't made up his mind. He doesn't know. So the best thing for them to do is to just play to get their safety. Now, obviously, what that means is that they turn in their VIP badges to compete in the safety suite this week, and then he doesn't have to compete against them the following week if he does indeed compete in the safety suite, because this upcoming Sunday is the final chance for them to compete in the safety suite. At least that episode will be the final chance they have to compete in the safety suite, and then that's gone, and there will be some other room that is used in place of that. So it's obvious to a lot of people, like, yeah, obviously he wants us all to play so that he can just be by himself next week and win. So people don't really like that. They feel like it's obvious, it's pushy, it's not heartwarming. You're not saying like, oh, I want to work with you, you're safe, you're fine. You're saying like, no one is safe. I don't like anybody. You should all compete, except for the people in his alliance. However, he's in an alliance of 6, and he told them that they needed to have at least 2 people compete in the safety suite, because again, he wants to assure his own safety and protect his own game, which is smart, but a little bit too obvious. Like, he showed his hand a little bit too much, I think. And it put a really bad taste in Nicole's mouth. She said she really didn't like it. She's like, I don't work for you. I don't have to do what you tell me to do. She didn't say this out loud. She was saying this in the confessional. But she was like, yeah, I don't know. Should I compete? Should I not? I don't feel safe, but I also don't know if I could win in the safety suite, especially if a lot of other people are going to compete, which is smart on her side as well. So that's what we want to see in an all-star season. We want to see smart strategy, good gameplay in the show. I'm just going to mute this person because they're speaking a different language that I do not speak. You nominate me for eviction? Rude. Nice to see you too, Nelson. Good to see you over on YouTube. My vote is for Christmas, which is also when my wedding with Chloe will be. Your vote is for Christmas that you want her out or that you want her to win? Did I get a better camera? Nope, same camera. Logitech Brio. But thank you. Thank you for the compliment. I'm glad it looks good for you guys. Coming in clear. I'm good, Nelson. How are you? I think Redhead Nicole looks like the chick from the movie Rio. I don't think I've seen that movie. I'm sorry. Does anybody else think that? All right, so Ian realizes that Memphis is trying to get everyone to use their VIP badge for the safety suite, and other people do as well. But a lot of people decide to compete. So it is, I believe, in this order. David first. David says, he made me a have-not. I am not safe. I'm going to compete in the safety suite, and I have to win. So he did it like right away. As soon as they were like, the safety suite's now open, he was like, rang his badge, I'm in, I'm going. Then Cody. So Cody was one of the 6 to, let me show, so in case anybody is confused about who is in the 6, if you haven't been paying close attention, we have Christmas, Danny, Cody, Tyler, Nicole, and Memphis. So those are the people that are in the 6-person alliance, and the 2 people that they get that Memphis convinced, because Memphis can't compete because he's already safe. I mean, I guess maybe he could, but that'd be dumb. So then he convinces Cody and Christmas to play. Now, he didn't really seem to want Cody to be one of the people that played, but everyone was kind of like, yeah, Cody, you should compete too. Maybe because they think Cody would win, right? He's good at competition, so it's a good chance of them, if he wins, it's part of their alliance. So they got Cody. Christmas wanted to compete. She wants to play. I love her energy. She's like really strong. She's super fit, and she's just like, it seems like maybe a little bored, right? She's like, I want to play. Like, I want to do something. So I just lay around this house all the time. Like, let's go play this game. So she was excited to compete anyway. It gave her an excuse to do it, which was pretty cool. Not necessarily the smartest game move per se, but if you feel confident in your alliance, then, in the majority of the house, you don't really have to worry about what happens for HOH and anything really, because you feel pretty safe with your numbers. So it was Cody and Christmas and David, Ian, Kevin, Bailey, and Devon. Just 7 people. So at this point, 7 people have, actually, I don't think Bailey and Devon had swiped in yet. There was 5 people, and Nicole sees this, and she goes, am I really going to win a competition against these people? Like, there's so many people competing. It's going to be really hard to win. I'm going to cash in my badge and not be able to use it next week. Next week, I'm going to have a lot less people to compete against and have a better chance if I do indeed need to play it. So she chooses not to, which Memphis viewed as, like, defiance, right? He told her to play it. She didn't. He's upset about that. So they go into the safety suite. Christmas won the safety suite. And I totally didn't write down what the competition was in the safety suite. It was... Somebody remind me what their competition was Sunday night in the safety suite. And Christmas ended up winning. And then... she got to pick +1, one person to be safe, and she wanted to pick somebody outside of their alliance, so she picked Ian. Now, she played it off like, oh, I knew it had to be someone outside of our alliance, and I just, like, it was a split-second decision. I just, like, Ian, like, whatever, a random, like, red herring, you know? But the reality is that she and Ian had a conversation before that in which basically, like, if either one of them won the safety suite, they would protect the other one and bring them into safety as well. So she made good on that promise with Ian, which is probably a pretty good, strong connection. It seems like Christmas is pretty well connected with most of the house. She seems to be a pretty likable person. Her social game seems to be working pretty well for her at this point. Competitions also, she seems to be strong, but not necessarily being identified as a threat. So I think that she's in a very good position at this point in the game. Thank you, Marcia. Yeah, this is the new chair I assembled last night on stream. Hey there, Hiza. How are you? Your team next year's? Yay. Am I team Janelle and Kaser or the newbies? I like Janelle better than Kaser. I like Nicole. I don't know. I don't love the newbies, but at the same time, I don't know. It's too hard because I've only started watching Big Brother last season. So David and Nicole were the only people I knew anyway. So I just have like a weird perspective on it. But in terms of like how people are playing, I have individuals. I don't necessarily like an entire group or alliance, you know. And the six, and then the rest of the house really isn't organized. It's really not like them versus them. It's kind of like them versus everyone else, and they're all kind of like maybe versus each other as well. So the six is in a really good position right now as well. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Well, during my 12-hour stream I'm doing tomorrow night, I'm going to be doing 12 costumes in 12 hours. So I'll be changing my costumes, and I have at least 3 Christmas-themed costumes that I'll be interweaving throughout that stream tomorrow on Twitch. So feel free to come check that out. It's twitch.tv/nextjuice, or you can just go to my website, nextjuice.com, and you see all my links everywhere. You can check out my Discord channel, and you can also follow me on Twitch. On Twitch, you just hit the heart. The heart is the follow button. Okay, so I had put that Memphis' social game seems weak. People don't like the pushiness towards playing the safety suite. Christmas tells Ian she'll save him since he's not in the alliance, and she does. Okay, so that's everything I had for episode 5. That was Sunday night. So then Memphis nominated both Nicole and David. As he said that would be the easy thing to do. He was contemplating doing something, taking a bigger shot, but then he didn't. And that's probably okay. You do want a resume at the end of the game, but if you start trying to build it too soon, you become a threat and a target, and people want you out. Unfortunately for Memphis, he didn't take a big shot, and it pissed off both sides of the house. So we'll talk about that for tonight's episode. So let's go to Thursday nights now. Wednesday night, last night, which was episode 6. And Nicole, I didn't realize this, Memphis had mentioned that Nicole A is now the only one outside of the 6 that still has her VIP badge for the safety suite, which makes her very dangerous, which is not great for her, and not really what I don't think that she intended. She was being smart, but she didn't go along with the crowd and the sheeple, and therefore she stood out as an easy target. So that kind of sucked for her. So her and David are there. She was really upset and emotional that she was having to go against David. She was crying and seemed really depressed, even in tonight's episode, I felt like, as well. So Danny and Tyler don't like the way the Memphis handled the nominations. So he nominates Nicole. He says, I told you to play in the safety suite. You didn't. So I just feel like, you think you're safe. Well, you're not. So I'm putting you up. David, you're at the grown-ups table now, so it's time to man up and prove yourself, or some bullshit that was like really kind of unnecessarily rude. You could have just said, hey, you guys are the newest players, you've only played 1 season, I want to give you guys a chance to prove that you belong here, or something like that, right? That would have been okay. And then you're still kind of getting that same message across, like, prove yourself, step up and show us what you're made of. But instead he really targeted David more than Nicole with his words, and to basically call him a child. Hey, you're at the grown-ups table now, and you're gonna have to prove that you belong here. It's kind of like, it was a little bit too personal, and people didn't like that. It rubbed them the wrong way, including Danny and Tyler, who are both part of Memphis' 6-person alliance. So that was dumb, I thought. So Tyler was telling David, I really want to fight for you in this veto. I hope I get to play. Basically telling him, you can pick me as house guest choice because I don't like the way that was handled, and I really want you to be here. You're here for a reason. David's big goal is to be the first Black person to win Big Brother. So he's like, yeah, you're here for a reason. I respect the reason. I want you to be here. I'm gonna fight for you. This is bullshit. I'm upset. I'm gonna try to get you here. And that seems to kind of trickle and resonate not just with Tyler and Danny, but also just with the majority of that alliance, the younger generation. Kind of, we're a little bit more sensitive. We don't want some dude to just tell us like, you're childish and you don't belong here, and basically be rude. A little bit more sensitive generation. So I think that was kind of what you see brewing and buzzing there. It pissed a lot of people off, including his own alliance, which is dumb. So Janelle really likes Nicole A. Now, not only does she really like her and she's really sweet, she knows she's very loyal and trustworthy, and she knows that she could be a number in her favor. She thinks that she could pull Nicole to be a number for her and Kaser. So she talks to Memphis, and she tries to suggest, or she suggests a backdoor idea, swapping one Nicole for another. So taking, if he wins the veto, or if anyone takes Nicole down from the veto competition, to put up the other Nicole Franzel, who is the only other winner in the house besides Ian, who Janelle thinks is a big target. And I think Janelle's probably using Ian and Nicole as obvious threats, but she's also trying to break up the 6-person alliance, which includes Nicole F and does not include Ian. So because Janelle's a big threat too, so it's tricky because in these types of games, like if you're a big threat, you actually kind of want other big threats around because it buffers you. You don't want to be the only big threat in the house because then you're an easy vote out. If there's others there, but at the same time, if they have numbers and they're a big threat, you do need to get them out and weaken their numbers ASAP. And that's what she wanted to do. So she told him, hey, I walked in on a powwow between Tyler, Danny, Cody, and Nicole. I know they're definitely a 4. And, they're like, they're running the house right now. They're in charge. They're the 4. Now, this is good information for Memphis because it's actually a 6, but they haven't identified Memphis or Christmas as part of that alliance, which means that Memphis and Christmas are doing a much better job at keeping their alliance on the down low than those 4 who are just always like hanging out together in a clique and making it quite obvious that they are working together to the rest of the house. Not on purpose, but kind of like, I think maybe dumbly, but what else are you going to do? You're hanging out in the house. Like, you guys hang out. Your vibe attracts your tribe. You hang out with the people you like, Hey, Junior, what's up? Beep, beep. They're all sheep. Arbor Day themed costumes. Wait, Arbor Day? It's tomorrow Arbor Day? I am not prepared with any Arbor Day themed costumes, unfortunately. And then Sarah just says, alcohol. What? Okay. So what's up next? So Memphis likes that Kaser and Janelle are bringing him information. They trust him. They want to work with him. And they don't know that he's part of the other alliance. So he feels good. He's in a good position. He has the 6-person alliance. Plus he has Kaser and Janelle who basically think they're working with him. And he's fine with letting them think that. He makes a dumb mistake, I think. He tells Cody. Because he has to tell somebody, right? He's got as humans, sometimes we're like, we need to talk. So he tells Cody, hey, you've been identified as one of a possible 4 by Kaser and Janelle. They brought this information to me. He told them too much because now, Cody went and told the other 3. He was like, it's important for them to know. I'm going to tell him. He goes and he tells all of them, we're being identified as a 4 and it's pissing me off and we got to get Kaser and Janelle out of here. So then they're pushing Memphis for a backdoor of Janelle where they take, I think they actually even wanted, it seemed kind of split on whether or not they thought he should take Nicole or David down, maybe more predominantly David, but take someone down and then backdoor Janelle and get Janelle out while they have a chance because she is aware of their alliance and they need to get that out of here ASAP. Now Memphis, I think, is in a position where he really can't do that because if he plays his hand, if he shows his cards and either backdoors Nicole Franzel in his 6-person alliance or backdoors Janelle and shows Janelle and Kaser that he's not working with them, he's not to be trusted, and he's possibly working with that other alliance, he has shown one side or the other where he's on. So it's actually best for him, in my opinion, to remain neutral, to remain Sweden, to be like, yeah, I'm just going to go for the easy targets. It's early on. I want to work with everybody, and kind of just like stay neutral. Well, it kind of like bothered both of them that he wasn't really picking a side. It didn't really seem like he was going to go for it, which made them worried that they couldn't trust him in the 6-person alliance, that maybe he is working with Kaysar and Janelle and doesn't really care about our alliance so much. Oh, yes. Oh, that's why Sarah said alcohol. Yeah, the safety suite challenge was balancing different weighted drinks, fake drinks. They were like wooden blocks shaped like drinks, balancing them on a wobbly table. Thank you, Sarah. Yeah, so that was what Christmas ended up winning. She balanced it the fastest. It was, I think, 2 or 3 separate tables they had to balance and then go ring the buzzer, and whoever did it the fastest won. So she won. Devon did really bad. She got like 23 minutes to balance everything. I felt bad because, wait, was it 23? Was it 8 or 18? I don't know. I just remember being like way longer than everyone else. Everyone else was like 2 or 3 minutes, and hers was like 10 minutes or something. That was funny though. Very Survivor-esque. Wait, what was the balancing of the drinks or what? Okay. So Kevin opens up to Nicole. This is just like a heart piece. Kevin opens up to Nicole Franzel and Enzo, the Meow Meow, about wanting to adopt or do IVF. And they're kind of just talking about their personal life, you know, outside of the house and how expensive it is to adopt or do IVF. And Kevin's kind of saying like that's what he would want the $500,000 winnings to go towards, is to have a baby with his husband because he's gay. And he wants the baby to really be him. He wants to see the kid and say, hey, that's my kid. So what they would do is a cocktail where they mix the sperm of both donors and impregnate the person, and then they don't find out who's the actual father until they're born or something like that, because, you know, they don't, it's really not about the genetics. They both want to have a baby. So it would just be kind of a luck of the draw, whichever sperm fertilizes first. So that was pretty heartwarming. Personally, to be honest with you guys, I'm not Kevin's biggest fan. I don't know if it's like the drama or the theatrics. I'm not really into that overly. I'm very logical, reasonable. I try to be very calm and kind of like straight shooter. So his, like even last week, like he knew he wasn't going home, and just the way that he was so like, oh my God, am I gonna go home? Like, come on, dude, it was a unanimous vote. Like, we know you guys communicate before the vote. Like, we know you know this. And it was obvious to me that he knew, just like it was obvious to me tonight. So what tells me more about the eviction than like even watching the episode, because they try to like mislead you with the show, is just seeing the people sitting there waiting for the eviction to happen. You can almost always tell. I'm pretty good at looking at the way the 2 nominees are sitting and behaving, which one is going to go home. And I was correct again tonight. So, you know, like they pretty much know ahead of time who's going. You can tell by their speeches as well. But anyway, so for the power of veto, it's Memphis, David, and Nicole, the head of household and the 2 nominees. Then who gets chosen is Ian, Tyler, and Nicole Franzel. So Tyler and Nicole are both in the same alliance with Memphis, so that's good numbers for them. And Ian is kind of a wild card. So before they get to the veto, that's who gets chosen for the veto meeting. And before the veto meeting, they announce Ian's punishment from the safety suite, from getting chosen by Christmas for the safety suite +1. Because that's the other thing. Ian already knows he's safe either, so he doesn't really care about like winning the veto or anything like that. He's competitive, but his neck's not on the line. So he ends up being a part of the All-Star Wars movie, where he has to dress as the lead character of the movie, Dirk Space Jammer. And he's constantly having to run lines and do scenes all day and all night long, driving everyone crazy, and it's really funny. It's very entertaining. I love Big Brother punishments. I think it's one of the best, most entertaining parts of the show. Hey, Junior, good to see you again. If they stand up before the votes are read, they know. That's funny. Just balancing stuff in general. Oh, okay. 8 minutes? Okay, thank you. Yeah, so Devon did 8 minutes on the balancing thing for the safety suite. All right. So the veto competition I thought was interesting because they did it after midnight. So it was after midnight, and they called them out. I think Enzo hosted it. They call them out for the veto competition, and they're all like in pajamas. They're tired. They're like, what the hell? They go outside. They have to stand on what looks to be a slanted platform with a big light up star around it, and they have to hold almost looks like if you have like what are they called? like a handheld plow, almost like it has two handles. It meets as almost a V shape, and then on that, at the end, there's a disc that you're balancing a ball on. So you're just holding it and you're keeping the ball balanced and keeping it from falling over. But it's kind of long and it looks like it's heavy. I mean, it seemed like the girls definitely didn't have the advantage in this. Their arms were shaking. They're like, it's just so heavy, so fast. And, the people who held on the longest were potentially like, they were men, they were strong, and they had like strong muscles. So it was a physical strength and endurance challenge, even more than it was like a balance or, coordination. It seemed like it had an extra element of being challenging for strength and endurance and stamina. So Nicole was out first. She was really down about that. Nicole A. She was crying and like she thought it was so embarrassing. She's not even an all-star. She dropped in like 2 seconds, and Kevin was comforting her. He's like, listen, like I would have dropped in 2 seconds too. Like it's no big deal. Like don't beat yourself up. It's just a game, But she was really down like this whole week, it seemed, and it was sad to see her that way. She was a lot of crying, a lot of emotions, and kind of sucked. He would definitely call out people's false dropping. Yeah. Yeah, I love Jeff. Yes. Julie Chen is cool though too. I actually was studying her tonight and kind of her history and how she came to get to where she is now. She's the original host of Big Brother. She's hosted it all 22 seasons. It's been 20 years that she's hosted the show, and I just think that's really awesome. I love that. It's just like Jeff Probst. And what I thought was interesting that I read about her is that she actually got a surgery. She opened up about this about 5 years ago on her old show, I think The Talk, and she talked about how she had actually undergone a surgery to change the shape of her eyes to lessen the folds so she didn't look as Asian a long time ago, which I thought was really sad, and just I can't imagine what kind of circumstances would build up to that kind of horribly hard decision. So anyway, yeah, she's awesome. So is Jeff. Okay. So Nicole was out, then Nicole F was out, then Memphis was talking about a bug was biting his nipple and he wanted someone to come punch him in the nipple because it was biting his nipple. Then Ian was out, then David started yelling, like, trying to mess Memphis up so he would drop his ball. And then one time he looked over at Memphis to see how he was doing, didn't pay attention to his own ball, and the ball fell off, which was really heartbreaking to him because he really needed that win. He was just curious about how Memphis was doing. It's that testosterone thing. It's that like, oh, it's my competition. Let me see how they're doing. And you take your focus off the ball and it's just, you lose it, even just for a second. So Memphis won the veto. So he decided to leave the noms the same. Then we had tonight's episode, the final episode of tonight's recap. Hi, Mark. So we see Nicole A. campaigning, and she pitches Davon on keeping her because she's a female. She said, listen, one female's already gone. I would be the next female out. You're left with 8 guys and 6 girls. We got to keep our numbers. We have to keep the all girls. It's not an all girls alliance, so they're not really working together, but it's a potential, right? So they want to make sure that a girl has a good chance of winning the game. Interestingly, Davon's response is race. Well, I want a black person to win the game, so how can I vote David out when it seemed like Davon was basically saying race is more important to me than gender. And the gender card was not necessarily important either, but I do think she has a point in terms of strength. So she's saying competition-wise, you're up against a bunch of dudes. It's harder to compete against a bunch of strong dudes than it is to compete against Nicole A., who's probably the same size as I am, like this little skinny mini, and isn't as much of a threat competitively. However, we all know Nicole A. is a very serious social threat, and she's smart, and she's a super fan of the show. So I'm surprised they didn't just basically tell her she's a threat. We're getting you out because you're a threat, not because you're expendable and no one cares about you, and it's just like nobody really cares if you go or stay. It's because you are a threat, but whatever. So I thought this was interesting. It's like, should it be about race? Should it be about gender? I think it should be about the individual. Like whoever deserves to win should win. And I would say that it makes more sense to keep people in the house that obviously are going to vote with you and have numbers in your favor, but also that you can beat, that you will be able to win against. So I don't think race or gender matters at all. Okay, maybe somewhat, but it was interesting that kind of came up. She was like, well, I can't vote him out because he's black. And I was just kind of like, wow, that's like, how, if a white person said that, now I realize a black person's never won, so they want a black person to win, but it's kind of like, how can you, like, in one vein be like, race doesn't matter, and then it's like, but we need black people to win things. It's just challenging, right? Because if you're in a minority, you're obviously going, so like percentage wise, you're going to have less wins. Let's say male and female, right? So if there's a lot more men competing than there are women, more men are going to win just because of like statistics and odds, not necessarily because it's almost like, is it a superiority, inferiority thing? Like, you're representing your entire race like all the time. And like, it's different when you're in the majority, when you're white, like myself, like I don't like win something and go, yeah, like I represent white people everywhere, so it's just a whole different experience. And I was really like, I didn't know how I felt about that, but I thought it was interesting and deserved being talked about, because it's like, yeah, it's challenging because it's like, we don't want race to matter, but then it does matter, like when it's convenient for us or if it's a good thing. And I don't know, deserves to be discussed, I think. She's going to have to turn on them eventually. You're over on Twitch? I'm not live on Twitch right now, but I will be later. Why can't you hear me? I don't know. Maybe you have a headphone plugged in or a Bluetooth speaker or something like that, but you can't hear me, so why am I answering that? Hi, David. How are you? Okay, so let's go to the next part here. Kaser and Janelle want to save Nicole, so they propose to Davon that they would have them, the two of them, Davon, Bailey, they have a final two deal, and then they would try to get, obviously, Nicole, but that doesn't really make sense because Nicole is on the block, I guess, just as an alliance moving forward. And then she said they're trying to pull Christmas as well. Now, Christmas, like I said, is in potentially the best position in the house right now because they're like, yeah, I think we can pull Christmas, because they don't even realize Christmas is in that alliance that you guys are like so afraid of. So Christmas is nailing the game right now. Shout out to her. Hey, Mark, what's up? Okay. So Davon and David have a conversation. And she asks David, she says, hey, some people are saying that you're part of an alliance and that, that maybe that makes you a threat, and I'm just not really sure. And, so are you in any alliances? And he was like, well, I have safeguards in place. I can't tell you what they are, but I have safeguards in place. And she's like, what do you mean? And she's like, I'm telling you, I'm coming to you with information. I'm telling you, here's what people are saying about you. Now, you're not going to tell me one way or the other if it's true. Like, so how am I supposed to trust you when you don't trust me enough to tell me your stuff? And she was really upset. And he was like, I think you kind of need to bring it down. Like, maybe you're just like, you need to calm down. And that pissed her off, which it would piss anyone off. And Bailey is like, that wasn't a good idea. Like, you don't tell a girl, like, this is obvious social game, social existence. You don't tell someone, like, you really need to bring it down a few notches, like, while they're elevated and escalated and upset. Is that going to calm them down? Like, they're going to be like, yeah, you're right, I just need to calm down. Like, no, they're going to be defensive and upset and insulted. Like, why is it not okay that I'm upset that I'm talking to you and you're not talking to me? I have a right to be upset, and I agree with her. And he's just like, you need to calm down, and I'm like, oh, I liked David so much last season, and now getting to really see him more and his personality and the way he plays, I have to say, like, I don't love it. I don't find him very impressive. I'm not loving the game. Definitely feel like Nicole is better than he is, but what can I say? Okay. So then Bailey and Davon are talking after she has a conversation with David, and she's like, honestly, like, Bailey's like, should we just vote him out? And Davon's like, he could go. I don't care. Like, they're basically like one or the other. They don't really care. They're not really super close with Nicole. They're not really super close with David. Most people, I think, are in this camp. Like, they don't really care one way or the other. But they each has their reasons for wanting one way or the other. And I think Nicole's VIP badge was working against her at this point. potentially she could have offered that up. Like, hey, can I give this to somebody? Like, somebody else could play again. Like, I give my VIP badge to somebody else, and then they can play in the safety suite again, and I give up my ability to fight for safety next week to try to win some votes or something. Or, like, I'll throw it away. I won't be able to use it. I'll destroy it, so that there's, like, some trust built, and so that that part of her threat goes away, But maybe there was other reasons as well. I'm not totally sure. So Kaysar and Janelle are telling Nicole, like, hey, we're campaigning for you. We're trying to get everyone. The house is super split right now. It's really close. We're really trying, and we're having a hard time really swinging it. And they're like, I think a lot of people have already made up their mind, so it's kind of like we're at a deadlock. And then it's kind of like Memphis. Like, if there's a tie, then it's up to Memphis, and he's a total wild card. And Nicole just gets pissed off. She doesn't want to be around Janelle and Kaysar. She doesn't want to be associated with them. And she has a good point as well. Now, Kaysar and Janelle are being genuine. They're campaigning for Nicole. And Nicole's like, well, you guys can't push like that because then everyone thinks I'm with you. And then I'm even more of a threat, And that's a good point. And everyone else is telling Nicole, Janelle's just trying to string you along. She just needs numbers. She's desperate. Her and Kaysar are on their own. They're in the minority, and you really don't want to be associated with them. Really, we're trying to backdoor Janelle. Like, really, we want Janelle out. And so she's hearing from all these different people, like, we need to get Janelle out. We need to get Janelle out. So she doesn't want to be associated with Janelle because that's like the black sheep of the house. That's what everybody wants out. So she doesn't want to be in that boat. So she's, like, trying to hang out more with the bigger alliance, but they really like David better, it seems like. So unfortunately, it's a bad situation all around. So Janelle has some emotions. She cries. She's upset that Nicole doesn't feel like she can trust her to have her back. Yeah, Steve, me too, absolutely. But that's not it. It wasn't that Nicole, I do think Nicole didn't trust Janelle, but it really wasn't more about that as much as it was like, everybody wants you out, so I can't be associated with you because it's not good for my game. It's not really personal. So anyway, here's how the votes went. It was every single person voted to get Nicole out of the house with the exception of Kevin, who had a final 2 deal with Nicole, so he voted to get David out. And interestingly, I thought, Enzo, the Meow Meow, he voted for David, which I thought was kind of weird because I didn't see that coming. Like, why is he voting against David and for Nicole when, like, I just don't see how that played out. Was that just him being nice? Like, he's just like, I like Nicole, this is messed up, like, we shouldn't vote her out, I can't do it? Was it to confuse people and throw them off? Like, hey, who voted for Nicole? Or who voted for David? Like, who's trying to get David out? To, like, kind of mix it up and cause some confusion and chaos. I don't know. I don't know why he voted for David, but I was glad he did because I wanted David to go over Nicole anyway. But there it is. What I thought was interesting is that everyone else voted for Nicole, like even Kaysar and Janelle. And I was wondering, maybe Janelle found, what Nicole did is that she started saying, like, I'm going to start going after Janelle and Kaysar. Like, if you guys keep me, like, I'm on board to get them out of here. I want her head on a stick. Like, I want to get her out. I can't stand her. She's driving me crazy, blah, 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 to try to, like, put distance between her and Janelle. But it just kind of, I think, maybe came off maybe disingenuine, but then it also burned the only people who were campaigning for her. Like, they probably found out, right? Nicole's saying that she's going to come after you guys and she doesn't like you. And so then Janelle's like, well, why am I putting my neck out for her? And then she's just, like, burning me, So it's not too hard to switch your vote to the rest of the House majority at that point. So not perfectly played on Nicole's part, but also really a hard and tough spot to be in. It's a much different experience than she had last season. Enzo gave Nicole a gratuitous hug when she melted down this afternoon. Oh, that's cute. An Osmo Mobile 3, a regular selfie stick, what do you use? If you're going to be moving around, is it Dawn? If you're going to be walking around and moving around, a stabilizer is huge, huge, huge. It'll make way higher quality movement, like if you're walking or biking or whatever. If you're just streaming, like just you're setting it down and you're outside, then a tripod would be fine. Tripods might move a little bit in wind, so like a heavier, sturdy, nice tripod would be better. but you said selfie stick. So if you're going to be like moving around, I would definitely recommend the stabilizer. I think they're way better. I have one. I don't use it a lot because usually when I stream outside, I just am in the fixed location. So I just use my little tripod because the stabilizer is heavier. So it is heavier to actually hold in your hand, but it's really cool and it's really high quality. Yeah, Nicole is really sweet. Yeah, I feel bad for her too. Absolutely. Absolutely. What I thought was interesting too was that Danny, it was her birthday, right? Everyone's saying happy birthday. And then everyone when they were doing the eviction votes, they were saying happy birthday, Tennessee. And I was like, who's Tennessee? And then Danny was like, oh, I have to say happy birthday to my daughter, Tennessee. I love her so much. I was like, okay, so it's her daughter's birthday, but it's her birthday. They have the same birthday? Mom and daughter, same birthday? I don't know. Weird? A little weird. I thought that was kind of weird. And then I was like, well, maybe it was just like Danny's birthday this week. So they just said happy birthday, like, I don't know. They called her the birthday girl and stuff. I'm not sure. Another thing I thought was interesting. So Nicole gets voted out. Sad, heartbreaking. Her mask wouldn't stay on her face. Her nose kept popping out. I thought that was interesting and entertaining because I have a weird sense of humor. Yeah, so she's out of the house. It's sad. Julie tells her the truth about the 6-person alliance and how actually Enzo voted to save her and Janelle had her back the whole time and was being genuine. And Nicole felt really bad. She's like, I owe her a massive apology. Like, I was so wrong, and it was really emotional. It was pretty sad. So what I thought was interesting for the HOH competition was that they actually said they got to practice it ahead of time. They said the house guests have had their chance to practice this game, and now it's time to compete. And I'm like, they got to play ahead of time? I don't know if that's common. I just thought that was interesting. So they had these 3 long tables, think like almost like shuffleboard, and they had these fake bottles of glasses of beer, like beer mugs with a handle, and they had to push and slide it down a table, and at the end of the table was 5 points, a little bit closer 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, and then anywhere in like the big first half of the table was 1 point, and then it got smaller and smaller. So you try to get it to the 5 without going off of the edge, and then it's your cumulative total between the 3 tables is your score and determines whether or not you win. So whoever gets the highest score wins. If there's a tie for the highest score, it's whoever does it fastest. So they pushed them down each of the 3 tables and then buzzed the timer. And the winner of that was Tyler, who got 12 points, which was 2 points better than, or actually, sorry, so here, I'll do them in order. So Tyler got 12 points and won head of household for this week, which is good for the 6-person alliance because he's in that, plus David, because it seems like maybe they're pulling David in as a 7th at this point. So now they have 7, the dominant. Let me see how many people are left in the house. It was 16 to start, right? We've lost 2, so there's 14 now. So 7 is a very lovely number to have in your alliance, especially if you can pull just one more person in, which I feel like Ian could potentially be another number in their favor because him and Nicole have that final 2 deal, or maybe even Bailey and Davon, but Kaser and Janelle are not in a good spot. Definitely not. So anyway, no, I did not say Siri. I did not. Thank you, Soto, for the super hearts. Oh my gosh, did I miss those? Sorry, guys. Sorry, it's a different format than I stream in a lot of times. I look extra tan. You know what I think it is? I think it's because I have this blue light on. Like if I change it to a different color, like pink or something, see if I look whiter now? I think when I put a cool color on the light, it tries to balance the color temperatures and it makes me look warmer and tanner. Something I'm experimenting with. But thanks. Purple solo cup. What? You wanted Ian to win? Oh, David didn't even know to hit the buzzer. David, he's he's doing these meditations, like, oh, I'm meditating, I'm super focused. But, you know, it almost looks like he's meditating right before he goes into the challenge. And listen, I have an 8-week meditation course. You can get it on my website. Go to the shop. I can teach you how to meditate and start a daily meditation practice. And when when you meditate, you have to come out of it. Like, it takes a little while to kind of shift back into normal, like, full speed functioning life. So I wouldn't really think meditating right before a challenge or competition would be a great idea. Maybe like before, right? Before they call them out all out or something, like that morning, you know, you do your your meditation as part of your daily routine, it's not like you meditate to prepare for something necessarily, because I feel like that could actually make you kind of like out of it, like unfocused, because you're internal. When you meditate, you're focusing on your breathing and your body and your thoughts and your energy and your feelings and your sensations, and really like your experience as a human, your soul inside. You're actually practicing in what in yoga we call pratyahara, which is sense withdrawal, which is why you close the eyes and usually go somewhere where it's silent, so that your senses aren't being stimulated, so that you can go within, so that you can go inside rather than being focused on the external world. When you're in a situation like that, you want to be aware of that situation. You don't want to be closing your eyes and just focusing on yourself, in my opinion. You want to be looking at, okay, this is what we have to do. Here's how long it is. You want to be sizing everything up. You want to be watching the other competitors, see, because each person competed one at a time. So you want to see like, okay, what's everybody doing? What should I do differently than what they did? What did they do? Right, wrong? Like, you should really be assessing and analyzing the situation, not meditating, in my opinion. So I just noticed that his eyes were closed, and I'm like thinking, this is not the time. Tips for dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts: absolutely seeing a therapist, I think. I'm actually going to school to become a therapist so that I can help people directly when I get questions like that. But everybody has different things work for different people. So it really just depends. Like for me, I used to be suicidal and depressed when I was a teenager. And for me, it was like learning about things that I didn't know about before, like positive psychology, and how you can actually change the way you think by consciously increasing the amount of positive experiences you have. So like laughing, connecting with people, getting in nature, meditating, doing yoga exercise, all these things that kind of invoke positive experiences. You need to have so many of those that it outweighs the negative. And one negative experience is 3 times as powerful as one positive experience. So you have to actually have 3 times the amount of positive things just to start to tip the scale. So it's not quite 3 times, it's like 2.6 times. So if you have 3 positives for every 1 negative, you can tip the scales in the positive favor, which I never knew. I did not even know that was a thing. And when I started practicing that in my life, everything changed. And that was more than 10 years ago now. I'm going to be 30 in 1 month. And that was when I was 19, I read that book. And my life has been dramatically different since then. But I know a lot of people who've been depressed and suicidal, and maybe I talk to them about positive psychology or suggest the book to them, and it doesn't have the same effect on their life that it did for me. So for them, it might be talk therapy, like meeting with a therapist. And I also did that when I was 15, and that helped me a lot too with my relationship with my mother. So I definitely recommend that. That's why I'm going to become a therapist myself. Some people seem to, they think that, I don't know, I want to say they think, some people seem to benefit also even from medications, from antidepressants. So I can't tell you what you should do or what's going to work for you, but you should try everything. And just remember that suicide is always the last choice you'll ever make. So make it the last choice that you'll make. Try everything else first before that choice is always available to all humans, but it's the last choice you'll ever make. So try everything else first, because you don't get to go back or change that decision. My favorite, Frankie, visualizing victory, which I did before ski races. With your eyes closed? I mean, maybe. I don't know. I mean, he was practicing it. He was trying to do some muscle memory. I don't know. I think it's important to be alert, aware, and focused. A simple walk? Yeah, I've been enjoying walking a lot too. Oh, how's that going, Purple? How are you liking it? Hey, Chip. My pleasure. Thanks for the question. Okay, so Tyler got 12 points. Janelle got 11. Ian got 10. So those were the top 3. And then everyone else, the lowest score was Danny and Cody both got 4 points. So this upcoming Sunday is the last opportunity for them to compete in the safety suite, and the only people with passes left are people that are part of the 6-person alliance, and Tyler is the HOH. So there's really no need for anyone to compete in the safety suite unless alliances break down, relationships break down, but also they might just do it like they did this past week, where they compete as a smoke signal, right? They're like, oh, well, we should just compete so they don't know we're working together, right? We're competing against each other. We don't feel safe. We're not working with Tyler. We don't, I don't know if they're really going to buy it or not, but they might do that. I think Memphis will probably compete, and then I don't even know off the top of my head who still has badges. Let's see. Yeah, I think Enzo I think has his badge. Nicole F still has her badge, I believe. Danny, Tyler, who doesn't need it because he won HOH. I think that's it. Yeah. Hey, Jordan. How are you? Yes. I think that's everybody. Hey, Kyle. What's up? Good to see you. Gotta keep my eye around my YouTube comments too, huh? All right. So yeah, Love Island starts on Monday. I won't be doing recaps of that, but I'd still love to chat with you guys about it if you do watch it. I am planning to watch that show as well. And we'll see what goes on with the safety suite and the veto competition. Sound good? Thanks, guys, for watching this. I am going to be doing this every week for the rest of the season on Thursday nights, where I'll sum up all 3 episodes of the week. So Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern time is when Big Brother airs, if you guys want to start watching it along with me so you can participate in the conversation. The safety suite was kind of a waste, except for Janelle being in the star costume. I mean, I don't know. I thought Ian's punishment was funny, too. I did like the star costume better, though. Would I ever go on Big Brother? Maybe. Hey, Midnight. Meet me? No, I haven't, Luke. I've been really into Twitch right now, so I'm really kind of all in on that platform at this point. Earn. You love Big Brothers? Or Big Brother, the show? So let me end this by saying who my favorite person on the show right now, the person I think is in the best position and I really like, is Christmas. I think she's in the best position right now. I think she has the best chance of winning the entire game at this point. I'm just going to put that out there. I think she's doing excellent. All right, I'm going to get ready to, what time is it? Oh my God, it's midnight already. Huh? Oh, it's almost midnight. I'm going to sing it a little early for you, okay? Midnight, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Midnight. Happy birthday to you. And many more. Hey, Banana. Oh, you're pulling for Christmas, Steve? Yeah, you always like Christmas subtle? Yeah. There we go. Berta said she votes for her too. You like Bailey? I like Bailey a lot too. Yeah, I like Bailey. It's Midnight's birthday again. It's Midnight's birthday every night at midnight. On this channel anyway. All right, I love you guys. I'm going to get ready to go live on Twitch, play some Fortnite, maybe some Fall Guys. I don't know. We did start playing Fall Guys earlier, and I really enjoyed it, so I might want to play that some more, but we'll see. What about your birthday? When's your birthday? Love you too, Mark. Good to see you. Hope to see you guys over on Twitch. Next shoes for the win, though. Hey, oh, and thank you so much for all those super hearts, you guys. 30,000 super hearts? What? Thank you, Ben, for being the top contributor of super hearts this broadcast. I do shout out the top super heart contributors from every single broadcast throughout the month at the end of the month. So first week of September, which, believe it or not, is like a week away, I'll be shouting out top Super Heart contributors from every broadcast throughout the month of August. So thank you, Subtle, for the Super Hearts. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Reggie. Subtle sending more right now. What's happening? Are you trying to take top contributor? Thank you for all those are big Super Hearts. Thank you so much. Thank you. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night for my 12-hour Twitch stream starting at 5 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be live for 12 hours straight until 5 in the morning, Saturday morning. So I will be going live on here before that, probably, like for a brief, just kind of getting ready. Maybe I'll straighten my hair and kind of get ready for the stream on here, because I do go live on Periscope every single day too. I'm saying on here, I'm talking about Periscope, so I probably will not be live on YouTube tomorrow. So I will see you guys for the 12-hour stream tomorrow. It's the same username over there, NextJuice, NEXJuice, JUICE. Junior, oh my God, your birthday actually is August 21st. Yay! Okay, well, come celebrate your birthday with us over on Twitch. I love you guys. I hope to see you on the next juice. This has been a moment in time with Taylor. No, on Twitch. Hope to see you guys over there. Bye. I promoted it on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook if you guys follow me over there. Hi, Chris. I'm just signing off, but I'm going to be over on Twitch for a while. I'm doing my first ever 12-hour stream tomorrow on Twitch. I'm really excited and a little nervous. Okay, I'll see you guys over there. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. Remember, you are worthy of being loved and feeling comfortable in your own skin. So act like it. Act like you deserve that. Do what you need to do to feel worthy of love and comfort. Bye, King.